Hello, today I'm going to show you how to do a Loopy I-cord bind off. This is the cast on and you see there's quite some extra yarn between the I-cord and the knit fabric. That is because on the loom you can move the stitches close together when you do the I-cord. You can do the bind off in the regular way, that way you won't have this extra yarn here. But if you want to match the cast on and the bind off, you'll have to do a little trick to get that extra yarn. I'm just doing a regular E-wrap stitch or the twisted stockinette stitch. And when I knit off one peg, I'm going to wrap around the yarn one extra time. Not going to knit this off, just going to leave this extra yarn here. You have to make sure that you end up with your working strand at the end of the fabric where you have 3 pegs left, so you can start the I-cord bind off. Wrap it one extra time. This is actually the same technique used in the seafoam stitch. Only then you do different amount of wraps on every peg to get that wavy in the fabric. Here we're just doing one wrap around every peg. If you want more room between the knit fabric and your I-cord, you can do more wraps. Now we're going to cast on 3 extra stitches. This is going to be the I-cord. And we're going to knit it like a regular I-cord, so only in one direction. And with every row we're going to pick up one stitch of the knit fabric, so that when it's finished the I-cord is attached sideways to your fabric, like this. So before we're going to start knitting this another row of I-cord, we're going to move this loop over to this peg. But there's an extra loop on here. This is the extra wrap. We're going to take this off the peg before you move the new stitch over. It can be a bit confusing because it can look like you already moved the peg over or the loop over, or you still have to take off the extra wrap. Just really make sure you're paying attention, because it's going to be a mess when you take off a loop by accident or knit an extra row of I-cord. So now we're going to knit off the I-cord, so we're going to pretend like the working yarn is coming from this direction, and there should be 3 strands on this peg now. So we're going to knit over the bottom 2, knit over these, and then we have our first row of I-cord. I'm going to move them over again, so you're going to take off this extra wrap and move over this stitch onto the last peg of your knitted fabric. So again we have 2 loops. This is not an extra wrap, this is the loop from the I-cord. I'd advise you to practice with the regular bind off first, because I got quite confused the first few times I tried this. if you make this loop longer in the process of moving stitches over, just don't forget to tighten it a bit before you start knitting off. Well, like the regular I-cord bind off, you just keep doing this until you only have these 3 loops left, and then bind off those 3 stitches. So take off the extra loop, move over the stitches, come on, I think it's officially Stubborn Stitches Day. Regular people have bad hair days, I have Stubborn Stitches days. So knit over the bottom 2 loops. Remove the extra winding. And there we go again. Come on. Only 3 to go. Come on. There you go. It's quite an involved bind off, but the advantage is that it's very stretchy. Well, if you do it right, it looks a bit messy right now. It should be just as stretchy as your regular knit piece. And the last one. I tend to hold the extra loop between my fingers so we don't lengthen that stitch excessively. It makes for harder knitting. That was the last stitch of the knitted fabric, so now we're going to bind off these 3 I-cord stitches, and for the nicest finish we're going to do that in the I-cord order, so we're going to bind off this stitch first, not this one. This bind off doesn't really matter because it's you're allowed to do it the quick and ugly way, because you won't really see it. It's only 3 stitches. And here we have the loopy bind off. It's actually quite a bit more yarn than it's down here, because I knitted this pretty tightly and a bit looser over here. You can see that it's nice and round, the 3 stitches pulled together. That was it for today.